Now, Prime Minister Boris Johnson was very keen to secure this for Glasgow, and so all eyes will be on him. What will he announce that could make a difference? He's been speaking to the BBC's climate editor, Justin Rolat.
Would you say you're now an environmentalist, Mr. Johnson?
I've always been a passionate lover of the natural world, but it was only really on becoming Prime Minister, seeing the upward spike in temperature change. There's absolutely no doubt about it. We have to fix this thing. I also think it's the way people want to go. The big change in all this is it's not what governments think anymore. It's not what the corporations think. It's what their punters think, and the people watching, they want change. And they want us to grip this thing.
And on that subject of change, we're all thinking about our own carbon footprints. What is the Johnson household doing to cut its emissions? Come on.
Well, I've totally abolished commuting since I live above my place of work. But what I used to do is I used to cycle absolutely everywhere.
What about beef, for example?
Look, I think that I've got probably to stop eating a lot less. I've got to start eating a lot less of all kinds of things.
On the big issue, the COP26 summit, it isn't Brexit that in the long term you're going to be remembered for. You're going to be remembered for the deal that you bring back from Glasgow, because that is the one that's going to affect the climate that we all endure or live in for decades, centuries, thousands of years, possibly.
That is the tragedy of it. You know, I don't think people realise that the difference between 1.5, restraining it to 1.5 degrees, increasing 1.5 degrees and 2 degrees, is the difference between losing 70% of the world's coral reefs at 1.5 degrees and losing all of them at 2 degrees. That is an appalling prospect.
You're not to mention desertification, storms, heat waves.
All that, and the consequences to say nothing of the natural disaster, the consequences for humanity are enormous.
But a couple of weeks before the conference starts, you go on holiday to Marbella. Is that world leadership?
Well, I think that on the issue of short-haul flights, we've got to do things and I know that people object to what we did with the budget, but actually we are increasing the taxation on long-haul flights, which account for 96% of the emissions.
You reduced it on domestic short-haul flights, ones that there are alternatives for, and increased it on long-haul flights. So you did nothing. That's what you're saying. You did nothing.
It's very difficult. I mean, I hear you, but it's very difficult.
But the point is, you are asking developing nations to make really tough decisions about their future.
Yes.
And at the same time, and you're saying you want to turn aspiration into action, aspiration into action. You're not delivering action on short-haul flights in Britain, are you?
So, with great respect, everybody knows that it's the UK that's out in front. When I was a kid, 80% of our power came from coal. When I was Mayor of London, it was 40%. It's now 1%.
Well, let's talk about coal.
That's an amazing...
Let's talk about coal, and I know everybody asks you this question, but you're going to China, you're going to India, you're going to the developing world saying phase out coal at the same time as not ruling out a new coal mine in Britain. A new coal mine in Britain. We started the Industrial Revolution. We should have closed the mine.
I've just given you the statistics before you have.
But why don't you just say we're not going to open them?
I've just given you statistics.
Why don't we be clear on the coal mine? The Chinese will say
80%,
we can't take this guy seriously.
Well, sorry. What absolutely everybody finds incontrovertible is the progress the UK has already made.
No, I'm sorry to bang on about the coal, but the point is, you kind of, it makes you look. It makes you look a little bit weaselly, not answering the coal question, because they're going to go and you're talking about coal.
Sorry, I've answered the coal question, and they understand that.
Directly.
And let me tell you directly,
okay.
we are...
Yes or no on the coal mine? You personally, what do you reckon?
I'm not in favour of more coal, let's be absolutely clear, but it's not a decision for me, it's a decision for local planning authorities, right?
One last thought. You're about to go to Glasgow. How confident are you about the outcome?
I've told you, I think it's in the balance. I think that we've had a decent outcome at the G20 so far, but everybody's got a lot more to do.
And the stakes are incredibly high. Justin Rowlatt reporting there. And we heard from the Prime Minister and Justin talking about how those delicate diplomatic differences will have a huge impact on what comes out of this conference. You can probably hear the wind is quite strong here in Glasgow this morning. Look behind me. The Clyde is going at a rapid rate. It's pretty chilly out there. Shall we check in then with our climate queen?